Alright, so it's been a while since I've made a video, but this topic is going to be like a fandom moment. But a lot of people, I mean, at least from what I've seen, aren't really using Saturn in their occult practice, magic, any kind of astral workings, and they're not really taking advantage of what he's capable of and what he can do. It's pretty much what majority are doing is just using the negative context like bind or whack. There's a lot more to it than just bounding someone or just hitting them upside the head karmically. So I would also suggest watching the other video I put up that's about 40 minutes long about Saturn and astrology, because if you understand that, you can kind of understand where I'm kind of in a way going with this, because a good chunk of that is in that video. You can begin to hear to actually be using your practice. But to refresh, okay, Saturn is a planet that is known as the Elder because he moves very slow but steady. Over time, careful, gingerly, making sure that every step he takes is precise and he is always aware around him. He's in the here and now and sees what's in front of him. He knows what's coming at him. He's not caught off guard. Moves slow and steady and carefully. He's a planet that is very reflective, because 44% of the light that gets bestowed from him from the sun, he just goes, get it away! He reflects it. So he's a planet of reflection, self-reflection, in a higher way of looking at it. Ultimately, what Saturn is a reflection of you. Mind blow, I know. Because whatever you project out, it goes out. Saturn just goes reflect, and that's where the karmic aspect goes towards him as well. Because what you put out comes back. Good, bad, don't matter. Saturn represents ice, things being stuck, detained, controlled, neutralized, stunned, locked, held back. Anything that's restriction or being in a boundary, for whatever reason, good, bad, don't matter. It also represents lower class people, such as people that are in poverty, servants, like people who serve other people, like many centuries ago, like if there was an indentured servant, that is a Saturnian person. Saturn also represents people who are chronically ill. Good example. Anybody that has a mental illness can be anything from psychological disorders, emotional disorders, mental disorders, pretty much anything along the lines that is deemed a disorder or an illness in the psyche, even autism. That is Saturn as well. Saturn as well represents society as a whole. Everybody, not just one, everybody, including the ones that are at the tip top. Saturn is also a planet of discipline and being able to understand, okay, gotta have control, gotta stay within my boundary and have control of myself. He's a planet that actually is very harsh, very cold, and blunt to the face. So he can be seen as a strict teacher, but looking at it just like that, as someone who comes off cold and harsh and pretty much blunt, in a way, you have someone who's honest, and you also have, ultimately, a figure or a teacher who cares about you more than anybody else, because always getting the truth and saying exactly how you performed or anything that you've worked towards. I don't know about you, but I'd rather have a teacher that says, how much time do you put in this? About a few days. You lie. You only put in 10 minutes. Do it again. I'd rather have that teacher to actually, slap me upside the head and say, hey, that wasn't your best. Do it again. Because ultimately, that's how you get better. By not taking shortcuts, getting the easy way out, actually pushing yourself and forcing yourself through the hard stuff and the stuff you really don't want to do. Life sucks. Sometimes you just gotta be like, okay, take your time and all that. Saturn also represents things that take a while to form and grow, like crystals and gemstones, ice, as well as age and longevity. A good example, when you have Saturn, say for an example, in the ascendant, somebody's body, like their figure and all that, it pretty much ages extremely slow. Because remember, ascendant, one's physical image, how the world sees them, and you put the old guy there with the big hips. He's going to take his time to make them look like from, youthful to, older. It's going to take a while for it to get to that point. So they're going to maintain a somewhat youthful appearance and have longevity with their life as well. And let's see, what else can you represent? There's just like so many things you can represent, it is unreal. But I can't really think of any more, but that's pretty much the gist of it. So, now the fun part. What are the things that Saturn's related to regarding the cult, and how can we use this old bag to give us a good hand and not, whack us? Good question. There's a lot. Okay, first off, starting off with like what color scheme he goes with. For me, black, white. Because he's a planet that is about truth and justice. Can only see black, white. Doesn't know anything else but in between. Is either yes or no. Planet that is about karmic stuff. Judge, yes, no. As well, another color, dark purple. And you can also say gray. And I'm going to also say silver because Saturn as well represents things like minerals who take a long time to form. Copper, gold, silver, crystal, anything like that. That is also Saturn because it takes a while to have that stuff just transform and grow into that shiny stuff. So, black, white, purple, silver, gray. That's pretty much it regarding colors. Pretty much some of the darker tones. Now, his day that he is best to work on is obviously Saturday because that's his day. As well, most of the time you can actually use Saturnian stuff and Saturnian workings also on Friday, the day before, because Friday is ruled by Venus, who is his best friend. Think of it this way. You have Saturn, an old guy, then you have Venus, a pretty girl. No, I don't think I need to say that analogy, except go, oh, pretty lady. Well, Venus responds like, oh, you're so cute. I haven't felt this in years. But, see? So you can use workings such as like a devotion, like a devotion regarding love. We can do that. You can also do a working regarding having your liquid cash being, blocked and pretty much being locked down. That way you're not just going like this all over the place with it. It's also having a lockdown on your conveniences and a lockdown on stuff that you've taken comfort in, like the stuff you work for and is in your house. Might be good to have, Saturn be like, okay, we're going to pin this down and make sure it don't go nowhere. Now, the type of workings you can do, I'm going to have to say there's a lot of people that actually do most of their hex work, curses, plagues, jinxes, baneful workings on Saturday. For me, if I'm doing any kind of baneful working, I'm kind of throwing it on Tuesday because that's Mars's day, going face first into stuff. However, Saturn can be used when doing like anything regarding deflecting something back, like send this whatever negative thing back to my adversary, or if you get whacked by somebody and it's pretty bad, you could use karmic justice regarding your working to go, I've been severely harmed, and this person needs to understand what kind of harm they've done. So, in that way, it makes sense to, work on Saturday, get help from the old guy to make him go over with his walker and just whack someone with it. You can also use Saturn. Here's a outside the box one. When you're working towards something or you're investing in a long-term goal or something, or anything that you really, really want and you're gonna be stuck with it, you can go on Saturday and petition for him to help you gain that focus and that strict devotion towards a goal, helping you stay focused and not be distracted, but detained in that focus and set sights on it and be consistently investing in it. Because not only is that it's restriction, yes, but it's restricting you in a way that helps you. Because not all the time restriction has to be like, oh gosh, this person's about to flail all over the place. Easy. That's just like restricting someone from causing harm. This restriction is restricting you to keep going forward and not get distracted with BS. As well as another thing you can do, and this is one I've used a lot, you can use Saturn to actually lock a state down or a way how something is down. Good example. You and a loved one, like a spouse figure or a partner, are in the happiest or like in a really happy streak or in a streak where everything's just going perfectly. I'll call the old guy in and tell him, hey, how things are going right now, keep that energy of happiness the same. Okay? So that happiness is going to stay stuck, and it's going to be because the universe and existence is still going to roll, but that essence of happiness is stuck. It's detained, it's frozen, it's locked. So that state of happiness is not going to go anywhere. You can also, as well, use Saturn as well. If you want to actually understand some of the stuff that's in more of the darker occult, because Saturn is all the way out there and he's pretty far away, and there's a lot of dark stuff out there, and he, being an elder, he kind of knows a lot of stuff. So if you're wanting to actually consider learning anything that's not really known to the world, but it's going to take a long time, you can petition for his help to actually find an investment that's not really that common, but takes a while to learn. It's always worth it. As well, you can also call on Saturn to help you improve your work ethic, because he's a planet that likes to work and work and work and work. 3 years later, he is still working the exact same thing over and over again. He hasn't even taken a break yet. So, if you're having a work ethic that needs, a little bit of come on, you can ask him or petition him to help improve yourself to become a better worker or employee. Because you have a planet that is strict about work ethics, like coming to work on time, doing the best you can do, expecting the best, your best, and you have that pretty much being onto you. Well, you have a good love tapper right there telling you, hey, call it a work ethic, come on. And I probably just embarrassed myself, but you get the gist. A strict planet that is expecting you to do your best all the time, and with one little slip, whack. So it's pretty much pushing you and focusing you towards something to improve yourself. That's really the big point of Saturn. He's not a planet that likes to go, oh, you want that? Nope. Oh, that's sweet. How long did you work on that? 3 years? Done. He's not a troll. He is not a troll. He's not baneful. While a lot of people believe he's a malefic. I cannot say he's a malefic. He's only a malefic if you cheat yourself, because he's reflecting that back to you. You throw BS out, he'll take the BS and then hit you in the face with it. If you work hard, put effort, and really invest hard into something, put time, effort, and diligence into it, and he'll throw that right back at you as a reward, which is your investment goal or what you're working towards come bigger than expected. But you have to understand him and how he works. If you think that he's just evil and just likes to be a big troll, no, he's not like that. He's a planet that ultimately is you, reflected. So, as well, another aspect, I'm trying to think of any other aspects, because usually Saturn is seen as dark and baneful, but he's not. Saturn can actually be used in a positive context, even like if you're going against, in a court case, Saturn's a judge. He's a figure that's neutral. He's blind. He can't tell the difference between you and somebody else. He's blind. He doesn't know how to play favorites because he's blind, neutral. Can't see anything better or worse. All he knows is law broken, yes, no, whack or not whack. That's it. He doesn't know how to play favorites at all. So you can also ask for his help regarding anything in the legal field and actually help you get focused in to understand what you're going up against, what you have to do, and understand the legal system. It has to be done. As well, here's another one. You can use Saturn, funny enough, as a planet to actually slow down an illness or slow down a decay of something. A good example. Say if you have a plant that you really love and care about and it's dying way too quick, well, you can call on Papa to have that energy of like, hey, slow down there, don't die that fast, because he's restriction and slowing things down. The act of like dying and decay. Okay, we're slowing down a little bit, maybe there might be a chance to come back. As well, the same thing, Saturn can be used for healing, but you didn't know that one. Just got to be creative. Say, for example, somebody has a terminal illness and they need time. Well, here comes the old guy slowing down that illness, whatever it is, in the practical sense, obviously, slowing down the illness so that way there's time. You can use that as well. Also, depending how Saturn is moving in astrology, if he's moving direct or retrograde, you can also use these things that I prefer to use and keep a big eye on and know what's going on. Saturn going direct, that is him being the pissed, angry old man that expects work, things being stuck, things taking a long time to go, things that are not things being focused and being detained and prevented from like going wherever the heck it doesn't need to go. He's how he's supposed to be, strict and expecting the best. Now, when he turns retrograde, you have an angry and pissed off old man turning into a cheerleader. I'm not kidding. Because when you have a planet about restricting and limiting you and holding and detaining you and letting you know what your boundaries are, you have him, get drunk, as I like to call it. He's drunk. He just goes, never mind, go for it. So when he goes retrograde, I like to think, and I firmly believe in, he starts going retrograde. That is the time you throw out the most what kind of workings ever for yourself or any time. Because Saturn limits retrograde. What are limits? They're gone. Throw it. Have at it. And during that time when he's drunk, being a big love tapper saying, go get him, Timmy! Have at him. No limits. Nothing is holding you back, no boundary. But as well, bear in mind this though. When he's retrograde, take advantage of it because your limits are gone. Work on what you're wanting and prioritizing the most. Keep working on it daily, over and over and over again. That when he turns direct, he's going to see all that work and go, nope, that's going to stay. And it's stuck. Because he's going direct now. He's holding on to it saying, no, responsibility now. So, really, you just bamboozled him into thinking, you have a responsibility. Okay. What? Okay. So, it's really taking advantage of him when he's, not having the gates closed And now that they're open, have at it. And then shortly thereafter, gates are closed, and now what you wanted is in there, and he's making you be stuck with what you want. Okay. Are we not complaining now, are we? There's another... Well, when also doing work that is like having no limits, or any kind of working that's limitless, bear in mind that just because Saturn's drunk, you have to understand that, okay, easy there. Because you're in a... Because it's a state of like things not being held back. So, you have things being unbound. And things being chaotic. So make sure you're protecting yourself because you don't have that order and discipline around you because he's drunk. Make sure you are heavily protecting yourself and protecting what you have and those around you because there's no karmic protection or no things being restricted. But like what I just said, having no limits and being limitless and having no boundary, of course it sounds great. But it has its good part, meaning like, hold your beer and watch this. But as well, no limits and no like things having order. Chaotic, because you don't know what the heck's gonna happen. But another tidbit too about like when Saturn goes retrograde and limits open. When you put forth the work into something for as long as he's drunk, as soon as he goes direct, moves forward a bit, and he gets drunk again, and he goes backwards, make sure you work on the stuff you threw at the first time you got drunk and keep it going because limits are gone again. Keep building it up. Because if you don't, all that hard work, he'll just be like, no limits. And it can just, that's why you gotta be careful. Because Saturn ultimately, when something's being worked on and heavily invested, when he's drunk and when he's about to go direct, he locks it. It's a little bit of a tidbit right there. Let's see, what else? I'm trying to think of anything else occult related that you can also do. Oh, any plant that can represent Saturn at all is any poisonous plant. Again, something like oleander or belladonna. Please research. Please don't just walk up to a plant and say, "Oh, pretty." Oh, it's toxic. Because using a Saturnian plant like that, you have to be very careful. You have to take your time because if not, you're going to get sick for not taking a slow, steady, disciplined approach to something that can make you kick the bucket. At the same time, if you're careful with it, you can use the plant that's poisonous in your spell working. I'll even give you a little bit of a mini idea. What you can do, you can have two candles or like two figures representing two people as a love working, and you want them to be protected from, two-timing hoes or stuff like that. Okay, easy fix. Surround it with oleander. Not much is going to want to get close to that because, oleander is very toxic and very poisonous, especially the leaves and the branch part. Not really the flowers, but one touch, oh, poison. So there's your protection, and also being like, hey, piss off. But as well too, again, any plant that's toxic, please be careful. Don't put it in your mouth, obviously. If you don't know what it is, don't put it in your mouth, because that's a no-no. Another plant that I can consider also Saturnian is a cactus. Because, well, you see, a cactus is like, I don't think I want to go near that. I think I'm going to respect his boundary, because if I don't, I think I'm going to get pricked. Limits, boundary, like, hey, you have your boundary, this is my boundary, you come close, well, there you go. You can also have the same thing that I was saying earlier, have the two that are in love, plop it in the middle, and then put cactus around it. I don't think anything's going to go near that. But there's also another planet you can also use, that's also Saturnian. Weeds. Like weeds. Like weeds. Why and how are they Saturnian related? Well, Saturn is a planet of death. Weeds are parasitic. They feed off of life, killing stuff. So you can use weeds as a method of infecting something if you deem fit. And also sucking the energy and life out of a target or being if you deem fit. Just be careful now. When doing any kind of work that's painful like that, and you're trying to have Saturn help you, and if it karmically or is unjust, it's probably not going to work out that well because it's a planet of justice. You purposely and banefully use any kind of working to suck the life out of someone innocent, you ain't going to have it. Expect to get whacked. But now say if like someone actually really messed you up and like, oh, okay, really? Well, you're going to have to learn your lesson the hard way. Then he'll be alright with that. Other than that, that's pretty much all that I can really think of, but a good way to actually think about also using Saturn is a way to help you be devoted towards something, help something grow slow, steady, but strong and firmly. And Saturn is a planet as well that can deflect. Because again, them hips though, they reflect the light back. So if you believe someone is throwing anything towards you, reflect it back. Because rings just fling it back. Reflect the thing back and just no. Saturn can be used again, like in love workings, to actually have someone be like, nope, you signed the paper, kid. You're stuck. You gotta be disciplined now. You can't just go willy-nilly and stick in it. Sorry, Tootsie. Well, if you didn't, if you really want to keep doing that, you shouldn't have put your name on the piece of paper. I'll be regret it. Up to bed. You're signing the paper. You should have thought about that before you did it. That's exactly how Saturn thinks. Like, well, if you didn't want it, you shouldn't have signed for it. Deal with it. Is that strict? As well, you can also ask for Saturn's help in learning about a tradition, heritage, and also helping you be of service towards the elderly, mentally ill, handicapped, those that are unwanted and abandoned, or anybody that is just not deemed normal in society. Petition him to help you be of more service to those people. He'll give you a good motivator because that's something that he'll really appreciate. From there, I don't think I have anything else that I can think of off the top of my head, but really the bottom line is not only, if he's seen as a planet likes to restrict stuff, make things, take a while to, and actually, tell you how you really did about a project when you should have been your true investment in full 100%, not just a 2%, and just because he expects the best. For one reason, because he wants the best for you. Even if he has to backhand you, he'll backhand you so that way you learn to do your best all the time. Really, it does take a real mentor, a real true friend, and a real person who cares to actually be strong enough and willing and capable of telling you how stupid you are and that what you did was BS and it needs to be better. It takes a strong person to be able to to make you break down, but tell you how it is. A lot of people really can't do that. No. I hope this was a new perspective on seeing, him with the big hips in the sky. Milky Way's best hips. I mean, you tell me anybody who's got better hips than him. So, hope this was informative, and I'll check you guys later.